Hi guys, welcome back to Creep Designs by Twitch. Welcome to my kitchen. It's nothing flash, we don't live in a very pretty house. I've got the window open because it's a lovely day, and so there's probably going to be a bit of background noise. But yeah. The reason I decided to do the Q&A was because I was getting close to 3,000 subscribers, and I said, hey, I should do a Q&A, and I'll do it as like a, woo, you've hit 3,000 subscribers thing. And of course, when I announced that I would be doing this once I hit 3,000 subs, it slowly crept up to 3,000. It took forever to get there. But in the meantime, you guys have given me some really good questions. There is a nice mix of furniture flipping stuff and personal stuff. And yeah. So I haven't put these in any particular order. I've just typed them up and they are in the order that I received them. Okay, so the first question is from Amy from Flip It Furniture. I'll put the link to her channel in the description. So her question is, if you're not watching furniture flipping videos on YouTube, what are you watching? Alright, so I'll be honest, apart from when I'm watching flipping videos to support my fellow flippers, I kind of stopped watching furniture flipping videos ages ago because for me it was kind of like a case of going to work and then coming home and watching someone else doing my job and like working in the same field as me. So it was kind of like, I don't really want to work all day and then come home and watch someone working. You understand what I'm saying? I still enjoy the videos, but I really only watch the videos that my friends put out, like I said, to support them, and I do just thoroughly enjoy their videos. But when I'm not watching videos on YouTube, so we are subscribed to Netflix, Binge, and Prime. Sounds like a lot, but we don't go out, we don't have social lives. This is our entertainment. That's the way we justify it anyway. So I watch a lot of stuff across all three of those. My main jam is of course horror and true crime, but I will watch anything. I'm a bit of a when it comes to watching stuff. I watch a lot of trash. When I'm not watching stuff, I listen to podcasts. So whilst I've been doing the housework all day, I've been listening to Morbid, a true crime podcast. And yeah, when I'm not listening to podcasts, I'm listening to music. Alright, so it's a lot of talking already. Alright. Velma asked, what was or is your career background? I really wish I could say something really interesting here. My career background is not very interesting at all. I spent most of my life doing factory work. So my first job was working in an apple factory, apple packing shed down in Tasmania, because I grew up in Tasmania. And I also worked in cherry sheds during the cherry season. Did some night fill work here and there. What else? Moved up to New South Wales after that and worked at a service station, an independent service station, which to our friends across the pond would be a gas station. And worked in a chicken factory, which I think that was my least favourite place to work at. After that, moved up to Queensland, where I am now, and I did a short stint as a diesel mechanics apprentice and a hydraulic technician training. I was doing that for about 6 months. That didn't work out for reasons I won't say. Then I moved down to, well, further down in Queensland. I moved down from, that was up in Gympie. I moved from Gympie down to Ipswich and got a job here working in the reject shop warehouse in Ipswich. And I'm glad I did, because whilst it was a hole, that is where I met my husband. So Velma also asked, do you have any siblings? Yes. I have I have an older brother, Scott. He's a bigger buff head than me. If you think I'm rough, he's rougher. But he's, you know, very genuine, very honest, and would give anyone the shirt off his own back. And I have also an older sister, Jackie, and my niece sometimes watches my videos, so Grace, if you're watching, say hi to your mother. My sister is also lovely, and I think we are complete opposites. Love them both. There is a huge gap between me and them, so there's always been a running joke that I was the accident. Yeah. Coffee time. Brandy. I don't think that's Brushed by Brandy either. I think that's a different Brandy. Brandy, Debbie Dewdrop, and Zolma asked, how did you get into furniture flipping and how long have you been doing it? So for about 5 years, it wasn't anywhere near this full-on and full-time right at the start, of course, because I was only just getting into it. But I had this thing where back then, before I started working on furniture, I was literally just doing housework and maintaining the yard and wiping ass and, you know, cleaning up baby vomit whenever, if he was sick, and, you know, it was just, you know, the humdrum of the day-to-day life of a stay-at-home parent. And I'd get upset every few days and, you know, have a breakdown and cry. I don't actually know at what point I decided to, or why I decided to do it, but we had a little side table that was given to us a few years prior, and it was broken and looking a bit crappy. And I went to Bunnings and got a sample pot of paint and some Feast Watson stain in the little bottles for $9. I'll put a photo up if I can find one. But I fixed that thing because it had bits falling off of it. I fixed it and I actually did a really good job of it. I think I'll look back at it now and I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of that. So yeah, I fixed that up and I wasn't actually planning on selling it, but I did sell it for $75, and the lady was so happy with it that she asked me to do a commission piece for her, and I'll put a photo up of that as well if I can find it. Feels like such a long time ago now. But I think at the very start of it, it was just a way to cure boredom and to be doing something else to break up the days, like a hobby. And then as it progressed and as I did more pieces, I realized that it was helping with my depression and my anxiety, and yeah, it just, my depression and anxiety just gradually kept getting better and easier to maintain and handle as I got further into flipping. So there's that. Oh, my bum's getting sore on the stool. Okay. Angel Abstract Art. What was your all-time favorite piece that you flipped or kept? Alright, so I had to go and have a look through, sorry, my glasses keep falling down. I had to go and look through my old photos because there's been so many that I can't remember everything. oddly enough, my favourite piece, like I know everyone's probably thinking it was like maybe the leopard print piece or something else dark and moody, maybe the Halloween piece. I did consider that. But my favourite piece that I think I'm most proud of would be this set of drawers. These were a custom restoration for a lady, and I'll put the photos up as well, of course. I really want you to see just how busted and broken this was. I think I did a video on this. I can't remember. But yeah, this thing was busted and dead looking, and she was absolutely thrilled with it, and so was I, and I still am, and very proud of it. And I think that is honestly actually my favorite piece. I would really love to do more restoration pieces, but yeah, I also like painting stuff, so you know. Oh, the stool's killing my ass. My ass is too fat for it, so I'm just gonna stand up. Okay, Melanie from Coloured Caboose Creations, link in the description, asks, how did your channel name come about? Okay, so before I had Creep Designs by Twitch, I had another page called Pretty Creepy by Twitch, and it was back when I was doing canvas paintings, and they weren't exactly basic. I'll put a couple of pictures up and you'll see what I mean. I didn't really have a clear style. I didn't want to do anything that could be mass produced or repetitive or anything like that, which it was very counterproductive to making any money off of it. I enjoyed painting, so I'd do really detailed stuff, and I'd sit there for, you know, any spare time I had throughout the day or night. I'd sit there at the kitchen table and I would paint, and I'd kill my back and kill myself for these paintings, and then no one would want to buy them, or they'd want to buy them, but it'd be for, you know, peanuts. So it wasn't really worth it, and it was really putting a downer on me because paintings were sitting around and getting damaged and bugs were on them, and it was just, you know, disheartening. But anyway, then I started working on furniture, and I had to come up with a business name for that because that was turning into something, and I was like, Pretty Creepy by Twitch, Creep Designs by Twitch. I don't really remember the exact train line there was between that. But yeah, Creep Designs by Twitch. There has been like maybe 3 or 4 people over the last 5 years who have said something to me about the name of my business, and you know, one of those was actually the other day. If you're watching, it is what it is. It's my business name. I'm not I like doing florally stuff when I'm painting and all of that kind of stuff, but I myself am not a florally girly person. I like creepy, I like scary stuff. I'm not a person that likes to be put into a box of what everyone expects me to be. And I think my business name sums that up for me. I don't want to be just like everyone else, and I've really been trying to focus on embracing that over the last year or so, because I spent ages trying to make my business look and run very much like what other people's flipping businesses run like, and it wasn't working for me because I was starting to not feel like myself. So don't do what everyone else is doing, do what you want to do. Alright, Miss Holly. I started painting furniture as a form of therapy for my mental health. Do you find it helps you too? Yes, absolutely. Like I said previously, that is part of the reason why I started flipping furniture, and I've definitely encountered a lot of people who have the same, I was going to say problem. I think flipping furniture does the same thing for a lot of people, and I think it helps that it's quite a common thing in our community, and we do have a very tight-knit community of furniture flippers that all support each other, and I think that really helps. And yeah. Christine Turner, what would be your preferred style to furnish your own home? Right, I had to look it up because I had no idea. I do love interior design, and I actually wanted to do a course in interior design, but I couldn't afford to do it, and the government didn't want to help me do it, so I didn't do it. But the style, if we could afford to do it, would be modern bohemian. I had to look at my laptop again. I'll put pictures up for those who don't know what it is. I just love it. It looks nice, and I think it would be very cozy and very laid back, and that is what I want. Me and my partner don't have any plans to buy a house, because if we ever do have the money to do that kind of thing, we don't really want to be tied down. I think by that point in our lives, we are going to want to travel. So we have plans to buy a bus, not a big one, just like a Toyota Coaster maybe, and fix that up and turn it into our home. And it wouldn't just be like a travel home, it would be our home. So when we're not driving around Australia, we'd be parked up somewhere, or maybe on someone's property, and live in it. So that's what we want. But if when that happens, Malcolm doesn't give a what the inside looks like or anything like that, so I'm probably going to go modern bohemian when we do that. It'll probably change by then, but Angel Abstract Art again asks, what type of furniture pieces sell best for you? Do you have better luck with artsy pieces or nondescript neutral pieces? Alright, so this is a question that I see all the time in the flipping groups, is people asking what colour sells best and what is easiest to sell. Commonly, most people will answer with white, and I think that is fairly accurate, because white is it is the most neutral colour, I think, and white will look good with anything, so you're not really pigeonholing yourself into styling your house a certain way by putting white furniture in it. But myself personally, I have painted pieces white in the past, and they have taken several months to sell. And then, I painted this piece green, like very, very vibrant green, and it sold within half an hour of putting the ad up. So it's yes, selling pieces does help us continue to do what we're doing, and yeah, we need money, but just do what you want to do. Paint something how you want to paint it. Make sure you're enjoying what you do, because there's no real way to guarantee making sales. So just enjoy what you're doing. Zolma asks, outside of flipping furniture, what else keeps you motivated? Do you have any other hobbies? I had to write down what my hobbies are, because I can't remember. So I'm about to expose how not cool I am. So my nights when I'm not working on social media stuff and planning things like this, I spend my nights watching stuff on Netflix, Binge, Prime, whatever I'm watching it on, and I do puzzles. So I did have the 1500 piece puzzles, and I did have at one point like 25 puzzles, and I think I got rid of some recently, gave them to an aged care facility, and I'm down to like 8 or 9. But I'll literally do them back to back, so I'll finish one in a matter of 2 days, and then I'll pack that away and get out another one and just keep going. I need to keep my hands busy, so I can't just sit there and watch TV and shut off and just, sit still, because I'll sit there and I'll pick my nails and I'll bite my nails and I'll just anxiety. So I have to be doing stuff. I have to be doing something whilst I'm watching stuff. I could instead do something like knitting or crochet, except I can't knit anything other than a straight line, so it would be a lot of scarves. And I have to consider what I'm doing carefully, because I'm getting, the arthritis in my fingers is getting worse. My knuckles end up really sore, so doing puzzles doesn't really cause any extra damage to my hands, and I just enjoy it. I used to build model kits, but again, because of my hands, I kind of can't do that anymore, and I used to play video games a lot, but again, because of my hands, I can't really sit there for hours playing video games, even if I did have the time to do it, which I don't, because the kind of gaming that me and my husband used to do together was, pretty full on, so a lot of raids and stuff like that, which would go for hours. And so he still does all of that, but I can't, because I don't have the time or the energy, and my hands won't allow it. I do miss playing video games. But anyway, Chris Jones says, I love the creative part of redoing furniture, but struggle with the anxiety of selling. I feel like sometimes I underprice due to imposter syndrome. How do you manage your anxiety when selling? So I'm pretty sure I too have imposter syndrome, and obviously I have very, very bad anxiety. So up until about 2 years ago, I wasn't really dealing with customers a great deal, because I wasn't really finishing enough pieces or making enough sales or anything like that. And sometimes when I knew a customer was coming to pick a piece up, my anxiety would get so bad that I'd end up shaking and shivering, and I'd end up in tears, and my husband would tell me to go and sit down, and he would, go outside and wait for the customer and deal with them, and he'd put his, salesman voice on and be very polite and lovely and get the money and send them on their way, and then he'd come and help me. He's perfect. But after a while, I just started saying to him, no, I can't let you do this for me every time, and I just had to kind of muscle through it and stop letting it get the better of me. And I kind of have twitch face, and then I have sales twitch face, and I don't really have any other advice for doing it other than seeing it as a necessary part of what we do. And it's kind of just, I think maybe doing this here has also helped me come out of my shell a lot, but I do still struggle with it. And I do still have really bad anxiety when it comes to customers turning up. What has also benefited me a lot with it and made it a lot easier is having my delivery guy, Sebastian. Um, whenever a customer tells me they want pickup and delivery included in their quote, I'm like, yes! That means Sebastian gets to take the piece and get the money and bring the money back to me, and I don't have to deal with customers. Yay! So yeah, get yourself a Sebastian. Alright. Mrs. Jax asks, do you have any training or education in woodworking and furniture? Absolutely not. No. I did grow up working with my father a lot. Whenever he was home, he was usually under the house working on something, building something. He built our back deck and steps and all that. There was always, a little bookcase, Dad's bedside table. There was always little bits and pieces of stuff that he'd build under the house. He was always down there working on something, and when he wasn't building, he was painting signs because he was a sign writer. And this is back before they started using like the vinyl stuff that they cut out for signs now. So he would do a lot of the like the fine line painting and stuff like that. So that real, where you see them, they get the long brush and the bristles are like that, and it's like real skinny, and they're like that kind of stuff. Yeah. So really good. Unfortunately, talent was wasted on him because, I'm not getting into that. But yeah, I'd spend a lot of time under the house working on that stuff with him, and he'd get me in there and teach me things, and I picked up a lot of things and brought them into my adult life with me. I don't know, I did woodworking in high school. I think that was about it. Anything else I've learned, I've picked up along the way, or I've just taught myself out of necessity. I think I learn better by being hands-on anyway, as a lot of people do. Why did the hubby call you Twitch? I twitch in my sleep, and he apparently thought that was cute and started calling me Twitch. So, now you know. I'm not entirely sure how to say this, but Druecker House DIY asks, what makes you smile and bring joy to your day? I enjoy my work, but I think I really, really enjoy it the most when I can just shut off, focus on what I'm working on, and just sing, dance to whatever music I'm listening to, and just work and not think about anything else that's going on around me, and just shut off. Or if I'm listening to a podcast and the girls I'm listening to are being funny or being idiots, I'm literally doing the housework, which is a miserable job to do, and I'm listening to these girls and they make me laugh, and I'm literally laughing whilst I'm doing the housework. That makes me smile. Okay. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, Nurse Anita says, if you could live any place, anytime, where and when would you choose? Who's watched Miss Marple? I don't know why, but growing up, I used to watch a lot of British TV with Mum. So like The Bill, for example, Heartbeat, and Miss Marple, Poirot. So I always kind of fancied the idea of living in an old, little town, like little country town in, 1950s. Maybe working with Miss Marple and solving crimes and kicking ass and being a bad bitch. Okay. Where are we? Mrs. Jax 304 asks, says, I know you are a Cartamilli representative. Are you exclusive through that company? I'm exclusive with Cartamilli because I am their brand ambassador. But Tanya the owner of Cartamilli has said to me, you know, if I want to use other stuff, I can. She's very laid back with me about it, but out of respect for her and loyalty, I won't use other products. If I do, it'll be off camera and only out of necessity. So if I've got a customer that wants a certain color or something used that I can't get through Cartamilli, I'll use something else, but I would do it off camera. But I haven't encountered that problem yet, so non-issue. How do you become a representative? I'm not entirely sure, because I saw Tanya post something about looking for content creators, and I commented on it and said, hey, do you want me? Or something like that, I can't remember. And, you know, then we started working together, and now we're like best buddies. And it's all good. And what does it mean exactly? So basically, in a nutshell, I use Cartamilli products, and I I film myself using the products and discussing the products. I'll do other things like, you know, side-by-side examples and stuff like that. I do create content, so on all my social media platforms, I create as much content as I can. Creating content is probably the hardest part of what I do, but at the same time, I also love sharing everything with you guys and getting your feedback on things and just sharing my journey. Aww. Alright. If you are doing Debbie Dewdrop asks, if you are doing a two-tone piece using paint and stain, do you paint first then stain, or stain first then paint? What is the reason behind your process? Alright, so I think personally I would do the stain first. The reasoning behind that for me would be that I think you'd be less likely to see a line under the paint, because the stain tends to soak into the wood a bit instead of it just being multiple layers sitting on top like the paint would be. So I feel like there would be a smoother transition, if that makes sense. Yeah. So Sebastian Dingleberry asks, why is a dog's nose always cold? Scientists in Sweden and Hungary have found that dogs' noses are always cold because they serve as an ultra-sensitive heat detector, which is no surprise considering our pups love to sniff out things hiding on the ground. Are you happy with that, Sebastian? Jackass. And lucky last from Angela Dixon. Angela is the lovely lady who has donated a lot of time and money and resources to my business. What tattoos do you have and what do they mean? Alright, so we'll start with the first one. You know this one. Bit of cleavage. So that is a crow or a raven and a heart. There's no meaning behind it. I got it because I wanted it. It does actually cover, you can see a star there. See if you can see that one better. So I had stars done on my chest years and years and years ago. My ex from many moons ago, back when I still lived in Tasmania, he paid for me to get them done for my birthday, and I decided to eventually get them covered up. I was also sick of a lot of people asking me if it meant I was in the mafia or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, it was ridiculous, but Yeah, got those covered up. I have an eye on the back of my neck. I will put a photo up here if I can manage to take a decent photo of it. That was my second tattoo. I got that done in Hobart, down in Tassie, when I was like 18 or 19, I think. I've got Hulk, the word Hulk behind my ear. I can't really get a decent photo of it because it's kind of faded. But I got that done when I lived in New South Wales because the people that I worked with at the service station nicknamed me Hulk for obvious reasons. This one that was my first tattoo. My old boss from the Apple Sheds took me to get that done, and I believe I was 17 when I got that, and it is CHK, and they are my mother's initials. She was still CHC, Cheryl Helen Clifton, back when I got it done, but Mum and Dad had already separated, and I got CHK because I said to her, one day you'll probably change back to your maiden name, and I would like to have your maiden name on my wrist instead of his last name. So Cheryl Helen Kelly. This one's a bit touchy for me, so this is why I've left them for last. So these aren't the best tattoos because I wasn't exactly happy with how they turned out, but I can't really see it very well. That side says my friends, and that side says my family. This one it's very faint, but it has a set of knuckle dusters or brass knuckles behind it, and this one has an anchor. So I don't know how many years ago, because I have tried not to keep track of it because it's not something I really want to remember. I had a very good friend. He was more like a brother. He was more like a brother, and he was known as ST, but his name was Scott. He was there for me through as I was for him, and we were best friends, brother and sister, shared everything. He went through a lot of shit where he was accused of something that he would never have done, and he did never do, and he killed himself. And I think that was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. About the same time was when I met Malcolm, my husband, and he pulled me back from the train tracks, literally. But anyway, Scott had a tattoo on his back that said, my friends, my family. And so I got those same words on my forearms, and I got, you can't see it, it's upside down, but it says LYGO, LYGO, which stands for Love Your Guts Out. We never really said, I love you. We weren't really ones for mushy shit. So we always said LYGO. So his thing for me was to say LYGO bug. So anytime we finished talking with each other, he would always sign it off with LYGO bug. So just to help you understand how important he was to me, my son's full name is Alucard Scott Graham. So his middle name does come from both of my brothers. So my brother by blood, Scott, and ST Scott. Maybe I shouldn't have left this one till last. So those ones are probably the ones that mean the most for me. Definitely. I do want to get the ones on my forearms touched up again one day, so that they look a bit better, because they should look the best. But yeah. So on that note, I'm going to leave it here because we are pretty much at an hour. So I hope I answered the questions, and I hope this was enjoyable. I can't imagine, I'm not sure if anyone would have actually been interested in this. I don't like talking about myself for obvious reasons. But yeah, I hope whoever's watching enjoyed it. And I'm going to go finish my coffee and have a break and stop talking for a while, and I'll see you next time.